Hi, this is Kathy Hale, and I'm here to answer question 768B. The question is asking about what processes we use to promote collective inquiry and problem solving with our stakeholder groups, and what steps have you taken or will you take to develop greater public understanding of our policies and practices. The short version would be that we really do a lot of communication through our website, through email, through the social media platforms like with ASB, and we make phone calls home to parents. So there are lots of ways on a daily basis that we have communication to really get the message out to our parents and families about what we're doing and how we're doing it. And of course, when we have special testing or when we have things happening around campus that we want to invite families to, they're specifically targeted in communication of that nature. But another major way that we promote collaborative inquiry and problem solving is with our WASC, which is our opportunity for us to do sort of a self-study. This usually happens about every 6 years or so at our high school. And it's a chance for the whole school to kind of get together and do sort of a deep inside out of how we're doing and really explore all the different facets of the school. This is also a study group that involves parents and students. So any parent who is involved in this really gets a deep dive into how the school is kind of providing itself a report card and getting as much data and research as possible and coming to conclusions. As people know, the WASC study is really a self-study, and it's like a 360-degree study of the school in pretty much every facet. And when the WASC visiting committee comes, they're really just coming to verify that the things that we've reported that we're doing in the survey that we're actually doing. So it's most of the heavy lifting is on the stakeholders on this really comprehensive report card. Teachers and staff members, students and parents are organized into different cohorts. There are 5 of them, and they meet, I think, at least 4 times a year as we're preparing for the WASC visit. There's a group on school organization, there's a group on curriculum, there's a group on learning and teaching, there's a group on assessment, and then there's a group on culture. So all of these focus groups are, again, like taking a deep dive into that particular area, looking for evidence that we are, doing and proving the things that we say we are, as kind of phrased in our mission statement or our vision statement. What are we actually doing to make that vision happen? The way that we reach out to stakeholders is we invite them with surveys and communications. So we really want people, as many people as possible, to be part of this sort of self-study. I'll give you an example of one recent meeting that we went to, of how some of the topics that we talk about that really encourage inquiry and communication and transparency about what's happening on campus. I'll give you 3 examples. One topic that we talked about with the Jamboard activity was equity and access. And one of the teachers pointed out that, with COVID, some of our students who were behind to begin with are getting even more behind. So this is a good example of how it's not equal, it's equitable. The students who need the most might need more time and attention than students who are doing beautifully and thriving. So that's one example of kind of a deep dive conversation on equity and access. Another conversation was on curriculum and instruction and grading feedback. And one of the conversations that the team had on this topic was that the math team felt that their curriculum needs to be much more aligned so that students are having more common assessments, which again speaks to being equitable. So a lot of these conversations kind of circle and cycle back around to each other. And based on the data, we are noticing that many of our economically disadvantaged students would benefit from math interventions, and that's actually something that we are doing with our after-school program. We have math interventions every day, especially for those kids. We invite the ELs in particular who are struggling, and we also have EL Saturday school interventions to try to help them. So again, it's equitable, not equal. It's giving our students what they need. A third and last conversation that we had was on interventions and restorative practices. Our teachers are quite passionate that the co-teaching model that we've implemented for maybe the past 5 years is the best way to have our SPED students be part of the inclusion model. And our teachers are really passionate about making sure that we are supporting our co-teachers and the students in the co-teaching environment, as this is something that's, based on research. It's also something that's new, and it's something that we're getting better at as we go. So hopefully this conversation about how we use collective inquiry and problem solving, our WASC self-study and all the facets of that, and how we encourage our stakeholders to be part of that process, and then some examples as to what the topics are that we do talk about in these brainstorming meetings, I think really illustrates how we are trying to be transparent about our educational policies and practices and invite everybody in to come co-labor with us. Thank you.